Hey. Hello, this is Amazon Jude coming to you from Wyoming in our little war room. Today's Sunday. On, I don't know, Thursday I got my last chemo, so I'm kind of in a, after a couple of days, you're euphoric the first couple of days, and then you start crashing, so today's my crash day. But I can't seem to get any sleep because like, people keep knocking at the door and bugging me, and I just want to tell them, I don't know, what part of cancer don't you understand, and get the hell off my front porch. But anyway, I wanted to bring this subject up while I'm looking at some scanning over the news. Okay, the Democrats are going into absolute meltdown. They have nothing to run on. They can't run on jobs reports because Trump has pretty much got that taken care of. They can't run on the economy because that's doing good, or jobs, or unemployment, or black unemployment, or Hispanic unemployment, or women unemployed. Or regulation rollback, or job creation coming back from overseas companies moving back. The steel industry is picking up. The trucking industry is picking up. Everybody's doing good. Everybody's happy. So we need to remind you folks that over the next 89 days, the Democrats are trying to steal back the House. They're trying to steal back the Senate so they can ultimately impeach Trump and instill one of their talking heads, since we haven't had a real president in about 20 years. The ones that have been in, and they're just basically figureheads. Hillary Clinton and the Democrats have had dirt on these sons of bitches for the last 5 presidents so deep that most of them would probably be locked up or hung for treason. So anyway, for the next 90 days, I would highly suggest that you do not look at CNN, MSNBC, any Main Street media. In fact, I would tune them out altogether, because all it's going to be is accusations. And today's front lines are a prime example of it. Instead of talking about the accomplishments of America, White House seeks to clarify Trump criticism of Russian hoax. Okay, we know Russia didn't do it. I don't know why you guys keep trying to say Russia did. They didn't do shit. I haven't seen any paperwork on it. Sarah Carter hasn't seen any paperwork on it. Anybody that works inside that, you know, gets to talk to these guys haven't seen any of it. All 4 of the intel guys that claimed that they were highly competent in this have all been busted lying under oath to Congress and congressional members. Adam Schiff keeps saying, for what now? It's been 18 months. I got proof. Put up or shut up, Adam. We know what you are. You're a belly lizard. That's what you are. You're lower than snake scum. And okay, so now they're back to Donald Trump's son with the meeting with the Russian gal. Okay, one, the bitch met with Hillary Clinton and Obama before the meeting, and then met with Fusion GPS after the meeting. So that is going to blow up in their face, and they know it's going to blow up in their face. And Sean Hannity and some others have hinted around to this going to be blowing up in their face probably in the next week or so. So that's going to take care of the Russian thing. Mueller is definitely unconstitutionally appointed. That's going to get cleared up. You know, and I tell Trump and all of our supporters out there that, frankly, if he fired Mueller and Rosenstein and Jeff Sessions, I don't think he'd lose a vote from us. I think we're tired of their shit. I think we're tired of their stacking the deck against the president. I think we're tired of them holding, you know, because Rosenstein was Comey's buddy. I mean, he stood in line next to get the succession of the FBI or the Department of Justice, and he sure as fuck wants it. And he's abusing that power. He got busted lying to Congress, you know, so they're all dirty. Why he keeps promoting these assholes out of the Bush administration is beyond me. Mr. President, get rid of the swamp. Don't stack it with a new deck of swamp creatures. There are millions of good attorneys out here that are law-abiding citizens that know the law too, that you could hire out of Wyoming. I have an attorney here in Wyoming that would blow the shit out of Rod Rosenstein. Harry, my attorney, he was a trial lawyer and been in front of the Supreme Court dozens of times and won. So you don't have to keep hiring out of the swamp. Okay, now they're back to the attack on the girls. Okay, let's attack Sarah Sanders. April's going, oh, well, I was threatened somebody's going to shoot me. Bitch, if somebody was going to fucking shoot you, it had happened by now. You want to talk about being attacked? Look at what poor Sarah went through. Look at what Pam Bondi down in Florida goes through. Look at what Nikki Haley's gone through. Look at what Kristen Nielsen of Department of Homeland Security. You fuckers have people so spun up they're lighting bags of dog shit on our cabinet members' front porch, and you wonder why they need security? Fuck you, April, and the fucking nigger boat that you rode in on. Yeah, you're a nigger. And that's not meant to be a derogatory meaning. You're a nigger because you spread disinformation, you spread hate, you spread racial divide. You're a fucking nigger by the truest sense of the word. And I'm sorry, but that's the way I see it. There are nigger white people too. And I can start with Adam Schiff being a fucking nigger and Rosenstein being a fucking nigger and half of these TV news announcers, Chuck Todd and Como the fucking homo. You know, you don't have anybody out there giving information to the American people that I would trust farther than I could throw their dead body during cancer treatment. So, with that, anyway, I look at some of these headlines. Oh, here's another one. Oh, no. Accused of harassment. Someone's getting harassed. You know what? Fuck you. You know, you can buy bodyguards too. I suggest you break into your little piggy banks and buy bodyguards. You're not going to keep throwing eggs at our Trump supporters and our people and attacking them when we go to concerts. We're going to turn around and we're going to punch you right in the fucking face. Okay, because we've had enough. Oh, the battle for the Kavanaugh thing. I'm kind of wondering about him myself. He's kind of another Bush insider rat baby, and he was part of a lot of Clinton's cover-ups. So I'm not real sure on him either. I think we could put up someone better and maybe hunt around a little better because we don't need Bush retreads. Klobuchar, this is Al Franken's in Minnesota. His partner, she's up for re-election. She's been Al Franken's cockholder for about 10 years, and now she wants to be, what's his name, Richard Painter of Crew, and Senator Leahy and bookbinder, Crew, Citizens for Ethics and Responsibility. Klobuchar, shit canner, Minnesota. She's going to have you guys chanting Muslim shit in the next 5 years, whether you like it or not. So I would definitely rethink that one. And as far as Richard Painter, you want to put an asshole in your Congress? You just got rid of one that thought touching women's tits while they were sleeping was okay. So now you're going to put some guy in there that fucking wants to impeach the president? What are you, stupid? And make you guys all start talking Muslim and it's okay to rape your daughter or kill your wife or fuck a goat? Because that's what you're getting when you elect these stupid fuckers. Then you got Crazy Maxine Waters. Oh no, I'm being threatened. Well, she said it, you know. Go out, attack, you know, surround the cabinet members. The Democrats have lost their fucking minds. They've lost the House. They've lost the Senate. They've lost the White House. They got nothing to run on except for Muslims and socialism. And they're worried. So that's why this is the most important time now. Trump has done all he can for the last 2 years. But it's our turn again. We got to get to the voting booths. We got to vote these Democrats out like they've never been voted out before. Hundreds of them. If you see a Democrat on the ballot, I don't care what the other guy is doing, vote for him. Vote for the other guy. Let's see what we can do when we get a major majority in the Senate and the House as far as putting this country back on track. Quit letting this Russian crap distract you. It's crap. It's all crap. Everything coming out of these guys are crap. Antifa, they're just protesters. But Ku Klux Klan guys or white supremacists, oh, they belong to the left. You know what? Fuck you. I don't see a color. Even though I use the word nigger, I use the word nigger universally. Whether it be a black man or a white woman or a black woman and a white man, whatever. If you are a shit stain, you are a fucking nigger. And that's how I do it. Like white trailer trash. Same thing to me. Nigger, white trash is the same word in my book and in my mind. Okay, so I would suggest you not listen to the news for the next 89 days. If you do have to listen to the news, find reputable sources. Do not count on CNN, the Clinton News Network, or public bullshit station, PBS. Old turkey neck Judy on there is about as worthless as a fucking duck sitting in a desert, you know. Martha Raddick, she's lost her fucking mind too. She used to be respectable. Dan Rather, he probably should have stayed better off under the rock he came out from to try to save the Democrats' ass this year. I say we vote Mitch McConnell out. I'm sorry, but if there's another Republican running, please, please, please elect him instead of Mitch. Hillary Clinton's going to campaign on the trail, and so is Pimp Boy Obama. But, you know, both of those two are the kiss of death to the Democrats. So you guys go on out there and you campaign for them. You go right ahead and do it. And people will look around and go, you know, funny, when you guys were in charge, the economy was shit. I don't think I'm going to vote for you. So, anyway, you got that Ocero Cortez out there, the socialist little twit from fucking New Jersey, running around with Bernie Sanders. I guess that's his new little groupie. Fuck her, too. She won't have a chance against a Republican that's up anyway. But what I'm saying, and I'm sorry for all the cussing, but I'm a little pissed off today. I keep getting bugged. I'm falling apart from my cancer from Sunday or from Thursday, and this is one of the problems that goes with it, is it makes you get really agitated after about 4 days. So I apologize for my language. We've got still too many Obama and Bush and Clinton people inside the FBI and the DOJ. Jeff Sessions needs to be run off. I think he's been compromised. Rosenstein, we know, is compromised. We know that we need to pull all their security clearances and fire their ass. And like I said, President, I don't think anybody would blame you if you fired the whole fucking crew because they're all corrupt. The FBI needs to be disbanded, and so does the CIA. I haven't seen anybody being thrown out of the CIA yet. And they were also part of this big old fucking conspiracy of how many ways can we fuck our new president. So, anyway, I'm going to look around a little bit and see what I can find on real news. And we'll talk again. But for now, I guess that's it. In, you know what, Trump? Here's a bit of advice. You demand that wall money be in place before the November election. Do not let Mitch and Ryan talk you out of it. It is imperative. That is your biggest fucking promise. They will shove this up your ass so fucking tight all through if you do not do that. If you don't get that wall funding in this budget, they will shove this up your ass, and that will cost you votes. That will cost you people. That will cost you Republicans huge votes. Huge votes. Because they're going to call them liars. I'm going to be kind, and I'm going to give you children a schooling here on what it is like to live in a progressive, Democrat, socialistic state. Like what you've got right now. You've got 33 Democrat congressmen. You've got 17 governors that are Democrats. And all 17 of those states are in shit up to their eyeballs in taxes and regulations and over restrictions. And here's your lesson for today.
There were 3 brothers, triplets, named Tom, Dick, and Harry Class. They were raised in the same home with the same parents, had the same IQ, same skills, and same opportunities. Each was married and had 2 children. They were all carpenters making $25 per hour. While they were very similar in all these respects, they had different priorities. For example, Tom chose to work 20 hours per week, while his brother Dick worked 40 hours, and Harry 60. It should also be noted that Harry's wife worked full-time as an office manager for a salary of $50,000. Dick's wife sold real estate part-time 10 hours a week and made $25,000 per year. Tom's wife did not work. Tom and Dick spent all of their family income. Since they paid into Social Security, they figured they didn't need to save for retirement. Harry and his wife, on the other hand, had, over many years, put away money each month and invested it in stocks and bonds. Here's how it worked out. Tom made $25,000 a year. Dick and his wife made $75,000, and Harry and his wife $150,000. When a new housing development opened up in their community, the brothers decided to buy equally priced homes on the same private street. One day, the brothers decided to pool their funds for the purpose of improving their street, concerned about crime and safety, and wanting a more attractive setting for their homes. The three families decided to install a security gate at the street's entrance, repave the street's surface, and enhance the lighting and landscaping. The work was done for a total cost of $30,000. Harry assumed they would divide the bill 3 ways, each brother paying $10,000.
Which would be
but
right.
Tom and Dick objected. Why should we pay the same as you? They said. You make much more money than we do. Harry was puzzled. What does that have to do with anything? He asked. My family makes more money because my wife and I work long hours and because we have saved some of the money we've earned to make additional money for investments. Why should we be penalized for that? Harry, you can work and save all you like, Tom countered. But my wife and I want to enjoy ourselves now, not 25 years from now. Fine, Tom, do what you want. It's a free country. But why should I have to pay for that?
That's right.
I can't believe you're being so unbrotherly, Tom argued. You have a lot of money and I don't. I thought you'd be more generous. At this point, Dick, the peacemaker in the family, entered the conversation. I've got an idea, Dick said. Our combined income is $250,000, and $30,000 is 12% of that amount. Why don't we each pay that percentage of our income? Under that formula, Tom would pay $3,000, I would pay $9,000, and Harry would pay $18,000. I have a much better idea, said Tom, and one that's fairer than what you're proposing. Dick and Harry turned to Tom. Harry should pay $23,450. Dick, you should pay $6,550, and I will pay nothing. To Dick, this sounded completely arbitrary and not really fair, but it did have one big plus. His share would be $2,450 less under Tom's formula than under his own. So, he decided to be silent. Harry, however, was stunned. You want me to pay almost 80% of the bill despite the fact that each of us is receiving the exact same benefits?
Yeah.
Where did you get such a crazy idea? From no less an authority than the U.S. government, Tom responded as he pulled out a gray booklet. It's all right here in the IRS tax tables. This is the progressive income tax system all U.S. taxpayers live under, and I don't see why we should be any different. In fact, I believe all future improvements should be paid in this way. Works for me, said Dick. So, by a vote of 2 to 1, the cost of the street improvements was divided as Tom had proposed, even though they benefited equally, and even though the reason Harry had more money was that he and his wife had worked many more hours than his brothers and their wives, and had saved some of what they had earned, instead of spending it all. Tom and Dick lived happily ever after with their new arrangement. Harry grumbled a lot, but whenever he complained, his brothers called him greedy and selfish. The end.
Did you get all that, boys and girls? If you want to live a good lifestyle, you have to work for it. Nothing is free. And the government is not going to pay for your health care, your education, raise you from cradle to the grave, just so that you can have a happy life. They don't care about your life. They care about the money that you pump into their free programs to get their illegals across the border so they can vote for Democrats, so we can have more drugs, so we can have more free programs, and then you guys are all complacent because you're sitting back in your fucking stoned high or locked up in jail.
Now page 4, the global beacon of socialism. The man who personifies anti-American, anti-constitutional principles is the same man who had not delivered a major speech since leaving the office of the presidency, that is, until now, Barack Obama. 44th president traveled to South Africa to proffer his warped views of world events and how he would like to see geopolitical events unfold. Yes, indeed, he took some thinly veiled swipes at President Trump, but that's to be expected. What was more stunning was his unabashed cheerleading for a radical failed ideology that runs counter to the United States Constitution. Obama goes to a foreign country to whine and complain about so-called income inequality. Yeah. Then he doubled down on this attack on the free markets by pushing the socialist economic heroin, basic universal income. This idea of giving people a government stipend is straight out of the mindset of Marx and Hegel. Government will give you money. Government will give you a job. Government will give you health care. government is the solution to all. This from the man who sat in the Oval Office here in the United States for 8 years as the so-called leader of the free world.
But we can learn from the last 70 years that it will not involve unregulated, unbridled, unethical capitalism.
Stop the tape. Yeah, we can't have unbridled capitalism. Capitalism, by the way, is a term that comes from the Soviet Union, the communist era, if you will. And, of course, somebody like Barack Obama is going to use that term. It's the free markets.
Also the part where Obama seems to have gotten pretty rich for a fucking pimp daddy from Chicago who didn't have 2 nickels to rub together when he started. Now he's hobnobbing with Beyonce and Jay-Z, sitting around smoking crack cocaine all night. That's 44th president of the United States. Boy, he's something to be proud of, isn't he?
Framers of the Constitution built our society on 3 notions, and that is economic mobility, the ability to move up and down in class, the notion of separation of powers, and federalism. Economic mobility is crucial in a free market society. And so what Barack Obama is arguing for is limited, if any, economic mobility at all, at least government control of my economic mobility, my ability to rise from lower class to middle class, even though we're not a class system here in this country, although Barack Obama will say that we are, we're not. But the economic mobility allows us to go from being poor to rich and rich to poor.
Yep.
It is crucial.
Based on your own abilities, based on your own knowledge, based on your own hard work. And this guy, you know, I would give $25 for a rat to gnaw that mole off the side of his face. He looks like a fucking little troll.
In our society, in a free market society. And Barack Obama is standing there in South Africa arguing against it.
Yeah.
Roll tape.
It also won't involve old-style command and control socialism from the top.
Stop the tape. I speak Obama-ese after analyzing this guy for 8 years out of the Oval Office. And what he's saying there, he's saying publicly, oh, we can't do socialism, but it's exactly what he's arguing in favor of.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is, we can't do it the old hammer and sickle way. We need to do it the Saul Alinsky way. So in other words, they're trading the hammer and sickle for a suit and tie.
Yeah.
Weave your way into government and destroy the free market society of the United States from within, not from without.
Exactly what our framers were afraid of, and that's why they wrote the Constitution the way they wrote it.
And he's advocating this now on a global scale. It's anarchy. It's anarchy in a suit.
Well, I hear he's running for, Secretary of the United Nations. He seems to think he's going to be the next supreme leader of the entire world. That's how big this guy's gotten. That's how big his ego has gotten. And right now, if I was President Trump, I'd be pulling security clearances and passports and put some fucking cuffs on that boy and locking him and his hoe bags up for quite a while till that white hair falls out.
Suit and tie. Roll tape.
It didn't work very well. For almost all countries, progress is going to depend on an inclusive market-based system.
Inclusive. There you go. There's another, I like to call them buzzwords. Inclusive, complete streets, Agenda 21, all of those little bonker words. Oh, what's the other one? Consensus. When you hear those words coming out of a politician's mouth, get up and walk out the room. You've already been hoodwinked.
One that offers education for every child.
Stop the tape. So essentially what he's arguing for here is an authoritarian government-run society, which is what Barack Obama was trying to impose on this country for 8 long years. He's not out there arguing for liberty and the torch of liberty and the statue of liberty. No. He's not arguing for freedom. He's not arguing for other nations to accept a document like the United States Constitution.
And fix their own problems.
The beacon of freedom and liberty that the United States should have in a former president. He's arguing for the destruction of this country and the imposition of socialism on other nations across the globe.
That and look at, what's his face today was saying, well, Chris, what's his name on Sundays? Chris Wallace, idiot. His dad's probably rolling over in his grave, listening to his kid yammer his mouth about how stupid he really is. He's sitting there yammering about, oh well, we've never started any wars. Fuck, I named off about 50 of them when he jumped on Bolton about it, going all the way back to the Persian Gulf. That's all we did, is allow our leaders to go into these countries and play kingmakers. And Obama and Clinton and Bush were the worst ones about it. Got us in a war, a 19-year war already with Iraq based on false evidence of them guys having nuclear weapons when they didn't have shit at the time. How many soldiers did we lose out of that? We didn't have a president for the last 4 years, or 4, 8, 12, 6, 20 years until now. And that's why they're worried, because freedom is catching on. And people are realizing we don't have to live under this tyrannical bullshit that these Democrats created. We are free to choose our leaders. And if we don't get out in November and choose the right leaders for our Congress and House members, we may as well give up. Because President Trump isn't going to be able to get anything done with these fucking lackeys in office. Like this Cortez and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. Them guys do pretty good with capitalism. You know, they've gotten mighty rich off the fucking taxpayer jobs, and most of them's never held a real job in their life.
Roll tape.
That protects collective bargaining and secures the rights of every worker. That breaks up monopolies to encourage competition in small and...
Notice this is all the stuff that Trump won on. What Barack Obama promised and failed to do. He worked exactly opposite of what he's saying here. And here comes President Trump, who's doing exactly what he said he was going to do when he hit office. And Barack is pissed. He's going on the campaign trail for Democrats. You know, you want to have the kiss of death, put this fucking nigger up on stage for you. I'll guarantee you get some votes. They'll be running for the fucking exit doors.
Medium-sized businesses and has laws that root out corruption. And then
I think the teleprompter stopped there for a minute because he has to look over at it and catch himself. The man can't put a fucking sentence together on his own without a teleprompter or a page in front of him. Trump goes winging it, man. He goes out there, he feels the crowd out. That's why he's popular, because we know he's telling the truth. You can't make up a lie like that on the fly. But if Obama and Hillary, and they can make up lies like you wouldn't believe. And here's one prime example. 5 minutes of Barack Obama going on an ass-kissing apology tour right after he loses the White House to Trump. So now he's out there trying to undermine him on the world stage because they got nothing left. They got nothing to run on in the country for electing these fucking Democrat liberal assholes. And now they have to attack him on the foreign policy, hence the attack on John Bolton today on Chris Wallace show. So anyway, let's finish up with this and we'll move on.
Ensures fair dealing in business. That maintains some form of progressive taxation.
Want to see more videos like this?
Just go out there and research them. They're out there, guys. You just got to quit listening to the fucking Main Street media like John Acosta's and Chuck Todd's and, what's that dyke bitch, Maddow? You know, I can't figure out if she's a woman or a man, or a woman that likes a man or likes a woman, but then she wants the woman to be a man, kind of like Kate Jenner. I was a man, but now I want to fuck women. You know, I turned myself into a woman, but now I want to fuck women. You know, these guys they're everything against the Bible. Anything that has to do with God's laws or laws about law and order in this country, they hate it. Because they can't win without abusing the law or without abusing God's word. This new thing, right? All these reporters, you've heard this new stuff, right? These reporters, April Ryan, Jim Acosta, Maxine Waters, Stiller on CNN, that little bald-headed dick. They're all claiming they've been threatened to be shot. But if you notice, it's the Republicans that are getting killed. It's Trump supporters that go to rallies that are being attacked. It's anybody that's on the left and supports our president and where our country is going are the ones that are actually being attacked. They tried to kill our Republicans on the ball field. That was a Bernie supporters nutbag. Okay, Bernie's out there. Well, we know about Bernie now. shored up his base, and then he sold out to Hillary Clinton because she knew that his indictment was coming down for his wife on bank frauding of $10 million from her college. So anyway, I love this Dana Luish of NRA. She is brilliant. She is a brilliant woman, and listen to her.
Acosta is upset that someone yelled CNN sucks. Imagine how he would feel if his network set up a public lynching of him, as they did of me and Marco Rubio, wherein people called me a murderer, and they screamed, burn her, and they rushed the stage and grabbed at me as I left. Jake Tapper corroborated this shortly after it happened, tweeting this in response to those who were in doubt. He says, I don't know, but Chris's, talking of my husband, description is accurate, and I made sure that she was escorted out of the room. I wonder if Acosta can imagine what it feels like when his network allows guest after guest, day after day, to refer to you as a murderer, to refer to 6 million law-abiding Americans as people who hate children and are terrible parents simply because we believe in the right of self-defense. As Derek Hunter, author of Outrage Inc., who was on the show just this week, he said on this program yesterday, it wasn't journalists on the baseball field over a year ago who were shot by a Bernie bro. It wasn't journalists who were attacked in Senator Rand Paul's yard, resulting in life-threatening injuries. It wasn't journalists who were trapped in their office in their building in Portland by rioters, and when they called for police, they were told that police couldn't help them because they didn't like their profession. It's not journalists being run out of college campuses under threats of violence with property-destroying rioters. It isn't journalists who have their homes targeted with paint, their boats vandalized, their children threatened with kidnapping and worse because of what they believe or what they do. It isn't journalists who had to move because they support natural rights. It isn't journalists who are being doxxed. It isn't journalists who are being told by lawmakers to confront the lawmakers telling people to confront them and running them out of America. It isn't journalists who are constantly referred to as people who share teeth and referred to as, or it's intimated that they're backwoods racist hillbillies by other media types infuriated that Hillary didn't win.
Poor
now,
Hillary.
You see, the media has actually done this to average Americans. The media has treated its audience this way. People who want to believe what reporters write, people who want to trust the talking heads that they welcome into their homes every morning as they get ready for work, as they make dinner at night while their kids are sitting at the table laboring over homework. We are the people who want to trust the media. We are the people who want the comfort of knowing we can trust the media. When catastrophes happen, the media, those are the people that we turn to. Some of us even before we hit our knees in prayer.
Yeah, and look at it today. They're accusing our president of sending in drones to try to kill Venezuela's president. Now, that's not something that the Trump administration would even consider condoning. We have no monkey in that fight. We have no circus in that fight. And Trump has said it all along, that he will not be in the business of king-making in other countries. And this is the deep state working to make strife on the foreign level so that they can pick at Trump during the elections, because they have nothing themselves to run on. They can't run on the economy. They can't run on jobs. They can't run on health care. They can't run on anything because we're already fixing all that. But they're going to try to go for our guns again, which they are, over this Cody Wilson kid who wants to exercise his free rights. And I'm 100% behind him. If you guys think you're going to take our fucking guns because they're made of metal, you got another thing coming. Back to Jim Crybaby Acosta.
Watch the live coverage. We listen to them, hoping that, we can trust their breakdown, watching them deliver summaries of the complexity of the swamp. Watch them as they bring us truth. Trust that what they're bringing us is truth. The problem is that this relationship is damaged, but it wasn't damaged by us.
That's right.
It was damaged by many of those members of the legacy media doing exactly what I just listed moments ago. Many in legacy media stopped prioritizing advancing news and truth in favor of advancing themselves and their political agendas. And when that began, that's when the relationship was fractured.
That's a fact. Dana, you got that one right, baby. She's got one more here that I'm going to play for her. Oh, no, that's not it. Jim Acosta selected outrage. Oh, I gotta go back a page. I'm sorry, guys. I'm holding this up.
Acosta is upset that someone...
Where is it?
Media is in meltdown mode, and it actually has been ever since November 2016, because prior to that they were awful. I mean, don't get me wrong, but they've been particularly panicked and unhinged ever since Donald Trump was elected president, despite their best efforts to ensure a different outcome. Oh, I could talk all about that all day long. Leading the pack of unhinged, self-obsessed camera hogs is CNN's Jim Acosta, who, let's not forget, made clear in an interview that the big problem with Trump versus the press is that the American people are just too stupid to know that the press is right. Watch.
But the problem is that people around the country don't know it's an act. They're not in on the act, and they take what he says very seriously, and they take attacks from Sean Spicer and Sarah Sanders and what they do to us on a daily basis very seriously. They don't have all their faculties in some cases.
Oh, we're crazy.
Their elevator might not
Jim
hit all floors.
says we're crazy.
My concern is that that a journalist is going to be hurt.
Wow. Now, yesterday, Acosta, who fancies himself a poetic hero of justice, he got very upset that Sarah Huckabee Sanders did not give him the answer that he wanted during a White House press conference. And so he walked out of the press briefing in protest because it's all about him. Always. He needs his own little separate press conferences. This is his tweet. I walked out of the end of that briefing because I am totally saddened by what just happened. Sarah Sanders was repeatedly given a chance to say the press is not the enemy, and she wouldn't do it. Shameful.
Oh, poor Jimmy.
The press is also having a conniption fit because one of their own, Sarah Jong, is being held to account for her overtly blatant, just insanely racist tweets for, I don't know, over 5 years, 6 years, which came to light after it was announced that she had been hired by the New York Times as for a position on their editorial board.
Yeah, she's the carpet muncher, man. Big time. Let's see what this is.
Actor Robert Downey Jr. walked off an interview when the host asked him about his past. He was there to promote his new film, Avengers: Age of Ultron, clearly a romantic comedy, when the questioning veered toward an embarrassing scandal that could threaten Downey's career. It turns out a few years ago, Downey said he wasn't a liberal. I know. Deep breaths, everyone. See, in the world of entertainment, saying that you're not a liberal is like admitting you molest goats or don't own a Prius. The host saw what he thought was controversy and went to pick the scab.
It was after your incarceration, and you said you can't go from a $2,000 a night hotel suite to a penitentiary and understand it and come out a liberal. And I just wondered what you meant by that.
I couldn't even really tell you what a liberal is. So therein lies the answer to your question.
Does that...
Here's another one that's pretty good, too. I love
Anthony
this.
Bourdain criticized Hillary Clinton and then...
Yeah, let's see if we can get past this stupid commercial.
This monologue, it needs something.
Yeah.
Joe Scarborough has announced that he's leaving the Republican Party.
Oh,
Reactions
no!
pouring in from all over the world.
The sky is falling! That's funny.
Too easy.
Yeah,
Scarborough, a.k.a. Morning Joke, told this shocker on Colbert last night.
This is well before Donald Trump was elected president that my party has betrayed their core values.
Hey, did we ever figure out what you did to murder that gal that was in your office? You know, the one you were in love with, and when she wouldn't go away, you decided to murder her? Yeah, you want to talk about murderers? Joe Scarborough. And then his wife, Mika, her dad was a fucking communist.
Values. Time and time and time again, they turned the other way. And they're doing the same thing now. And it's actually disgusting. And you have to ask yourself, what exactly is the Republican Party willing to do?
The right thing, unlike you fucking cocksuckers that do everything the wrong way. If the truth, if a lie is told, you would, well, how does that go? My head's a little fuzzy today because of my chemo, but if the truth fits better, you'll lie anyway. And what did Hillary said? If Trump gets elected, you're all going to hang by the fucking gallows? I say let's make it happen.
How far are they willing to go? How much of this country and our values are they willing to sell out? But aren't you a...
What values? You got no fucking values, you fucking murdering dog. You know, you look like a fucking alien from Mars. Your old lady, you know, fucking cheats on her husband to screw you. What a fucking trade down that was, man. She must be hard pressed. Of course, she don't say much anyway because she doesn't have any brains of her own. She doesn't even have a voice. All she can do is sit there and agree with her husband. Oh, he's so wonderful. He's so wonderful. Yeah, in 5 years when he gets tired of your old fucking ass because you are a lot older than he is, Mika, you better get ready for the plastic surgeon's office because he ain't going to stick around long with an old bag that needs fucking a colostomy bag in a few years.
Republican. I am a Republican, but I'm not going to be a Republican anymore.
You never were a Republican. You have always been a liberal, progressive, dick-sucking piece of shit that couldn't even win a second term in office because you murdered your fucking help.
I've got to become an independent.
Okay, weird Matt Perry.
Yeah,
we go live right now to the Republican Party for reaction.
Awesome.
You're sleeping. The lion's sleeping. Ha ha ha.
So, Joe calls it an exit, but for Republicans, it's really an enema.
Yep, it sure is. It's an enema. Joe Scarborough, what a fucking dog he is. So is his girlfriend or his wife, whatever it is.
Higher profits at Yum, and that stock initially down, turning higher. It's all about Taco Bells, right? Those amazing new tacos. I wouldn't really know. Someone told me about them. All right, now to this. The state of Connecticut has a problem. You see, they decided to tax the rich, and now, well, guess what happened to revenue? You got it. It's less than originally forecast, but Jerry Willis, she's going to give us all the details. This always kind of happens, doesn't it?
It's unbelievable how stupid the state has been in collecting tax revenues, and now those revenues, they're collapsing. So they are $450 million short of where they thought they would be on this year's tax collections. And take a look at what this is going to mean for next year's deficit. Originally projected at $1.7 billion, it will now be $2.2 billion. Right now, the state.
That's why I tell people all the time, man, don't sit back and bitch about your fucking taxes. If you don't go to the county commissioner meetings and the city meetings and tell them, we're not paying it, and you're not going to keep taxing us. But instead you let those guys bulldoze you with bullshit. Oh, we'll get you federal tax breaks on what you pay in local taxes. It's like a money laundering scheme, and that's what it is. And these 12, I guess it's 12 Democrat states are all complaining, well, they're all run by your Democrats, buddies. You know, they were fucking money laundering and hiking your taxes, and you were being lulled to sleep with fake deductions at the end of the year. Well, you know what? We're not going to pay for your stupidity. Fuck you. You don't like your high taxes, then you better find some new politicians because you're not going to keep robbing us. We have Republican governors and people in office, and you know what? I don't pay any federal income tax.
They're scrambling to find $217 million to make up the shortfall for just this year. They've only got a couple of months to do it. So they're not going to hire anybody. They're doing everything they can to shut down the taps on spending. Meanwhile, the state legislature, you know, lots of Democrats up there, they want to put in place a 16% surcharge on hedge funds. Now, it's the hedge funds who have been leading. Let's see, Edward Lampert, Paul Tudor Jones, both left because of these high taxes.
And they were big chunks, right? I mean, these guys represented huge amounts of money, right? Didn't they?
Absolutely. They're industry leaders, very well known. Connecticut was considered the #3 place in the world for hedge funds. They are losing that position. They are losing revenue.
Connecticut's going to dry up like a funnel, man, like a desert. You guys just keep electing people like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and all those crazy fucktards up there, and you guys you'll be priced right out of your houses.
And they are desperate.
But this is a slippery slope, right? Because California's lost over 1 million people, New Jersey over 1 million people. It feels like it's a slippery slope, Jerry, and once they go down it, they can never get it back.
Well,
and the whole point is, you know, we don't want those people coming out here and then thinking that they're going to turn around and do the same thing to us, because that ain't going to fly in Wyoming or any North Dakota, South Dakota, any of these western states that all have Republican senators and Republican congressmen. we're not going to put up with it. We're not paying for your fuck-ups in your little cities where you let the Democrats run you over and steal you blind. That's your fault, not mine.
Put in place 2 high-income tax hikes, and they're poised to do it again. There's a little sneaky thing they're trying to put across in a bill that's about something else entirely. If that happens, God only knows what's going to happen in that fourth state.
All right, thank you very much.